Back to ye old grindstone. Gonna quickly announce, and then just basically continuing from right where I left off last time. I can't remember if I was in the middle of fixing a fix me, or if I had fixed one and was moving on to the next one. But I have a number of fix'ems to fix them. So I'm going to go ahead and fix M. Interesting. Discord is displaying the Twitch banner differently. I wonder if Twitch changed something or Discord changed something. I really don't need to pipe that into less. I need to do this. Yeah, I'm going to leave those for the time being. I'm going to say that probably doesn't matter. So let me just do this. Fine. Yeah, fine. These are, things that maybe long-term should be fixed, but not particularly a big deal. Should be done worker to worker. It is done worker to worker. I can just remove that fix me. This is just the backup in case the worker to worker connection isn't there for some reason. That's a major problem that needs major fixing. That's actually going to require something in RT on Wii. User media stopped. This should be done somewhere else, should it? I don't know why. I disagree with that assertion. This not only does this not need to be done somewhere else, it shouldn't be done somewhere else. Like, it's not that it must, and it should. This is exactly where it should be. This is Jitsi. Jitsi's going to go away. Don't really care about that. Yep, fine. When I have that on the server, I need to fix it on the server. There are multiple input tracks. We need to preserve all non-easy bits of this track number. Oh, yes, fine, yeah. So if we have multiple input tracks at some point in the future, then I will need to handle that. This isn't actually a server issue, per se, because this is supported on the server now. And I'm reminded by this. But basically, this all has to do with multiple inputs, and when I get multiple inputs, yes, I will need to fix a couple different things. Is this just a fix me because I didn't want to have that recursive dependency? Yes, it would appear so. I can remove that. I can fix that recursive dependency. But let's look for if there's anything else worthy of fixing. Let me check whether there were other fix-me's in net. No, they're not. Update for user status. Update master admin. I guess this is just if they get logged off or something. I wish I'd left a more clear fix-me there, because I'm not sure what that is. Better output selection. I have literally no clue what that means. Yep, no clue what that means. This definitely is not a fix me. I actually specifically want to still show the video options because he might be recording video. Uh, yeah, okay. I am sort of sticking that directly on the UI, which is a little bit wonky, but that's not in need of major fixing for the moment. Okay, fine. If I ever have multiple input channels, then I'll want some way to deal with that. That's fine. It's correct that this should never happen. I don't know why the fix me is here, though. Because this doesn't happen. I just have it here as like a just in case the world collapses kind of situation, so... Yeah, this is again like for future multi-track audio. When I have this is not multi-channel but multi-track. When I support that, I'll have to do something about that. Okay, so there's a few fix-me's remaining, but nothing especially crucial. Just that one, I would like to remove a circular dependency. So let's see here. Set wave vad colors, and the problem, what made this difficult, was that this actually, yeah. I guess the way to do this so what is it using this for here? Oh, of course, the colors are based on the mode. So the way to do this here is to just listen for the mode event in waveform instead of doing this here. There's no reason why this should be here. Where does this actually set it? It's in net, fine. And which is certainly fine because it is a network mode. I'm not going to export this. That should be the only place that uses it. Yes. So I'm going to write something with the same name but doing a different thing. This is now net.mode. Do I even have protocol here? Seems like I do, and yet it's not auto-completing correctly. No, I definitely don't. Odd. It seemed like it did because it said constant there, but I guess it was the wrong constant because it's not supposed to be a constant apparently. And yet it still won't auto. Well, I'll see when I compile this what's going on there. And then I can just do this directly. util.add event listener. net.info.prot.ids.mode. I think that's how I do it. Net.info.key, yes. What is the default mode? Init, fine. So if this happens to have loaded late enough, then I will do it this way. Okay, so this definitely won't compile because it wasn't auto-completing prot, and that must mean something, presumably, but probably not. Whee! Oops. Definitely don't try to have two functions with the same name, but doing different things. I think I have 3 circular dependencies, and this should hopefully remove one of them. Basically making things event-based. Yeah, that should be util.events. Otherwise, I guess the prot stuff is fine. I have no idea why it's so confused. Looks like I may be basically done with the refactor. More testing, obviously, is needed, but I uncovered a bug in doing this that needs real fixaroo. Yep. Good, good. Did I even... Wait, what? I didn't remove this, so why did it not report that circular dependency? Did it report that circular dependency and I'm just confused? I know it reported this circular dependency, and I remember this circular dependency. This is a nasty one because logging, of course, depends on the user interface, and the network, of course, logs things. I guess it's the fact that the user interface depends on the network that's maybe a little bit weird, but I think it unavoidably has to. Yeah, just self-ID, really. Is that literally it? Just self-ID? Maybe that should go into config. But I'm not that concerned about circular dependencies right now, so that's not what I'm going to worry myself about. Instead, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to git pull. I'm going to realize I'm in beta. Am I? No, I'm not. Okay. I want what CTCP, client-to-client protocol kind of stuff, basically. I want a way of sending data across client to client. And obviously I'm doing a lot of that with the actual, entire network protocol and sending the voice and video and all that stuff. But I want a way of sending arbitrary data client to client. Let Let me quickly remind myself of why this is going to be more complicated than I think it is. The thing that relays is called relay. Yes, the only thing I allow a relay of is data and ACK. So I will have to add to this, because data is actual, like, voice and video data. So I'll have to add to that the ability to have CTCP. Because just because it is client-to-client doesn't mean that it doesn't sometimes go through the server. Sitting here thinking about this, like, do I really want this to be CTCP at this level? This is a lot more data. I mean, it's like nothing, really. Compared to audio data, this is just nil. Just seems a bit silly, but, whatever. Okay. So let's see. From the perspective of the actual client protocol, all you can possibly have access to is the room. Which I guess is an abstract room. Does the user actually get an abstract room, or do they get a room? I don't remember. Room.connection. Yeah, they get a room. I call it room.ts because on the server side it definitely is a room and there's many connections, but on the client side, of course, you only have one connection, and so your entire connection is a room. Okay, so I want the ability to... Yeah, I guess there really is very little public on this end, is there? It's a lot of private things to do with the connection. Yeah, and then you can just add your video track and audio track, and otherwise everything just gets communicated by messages. ID? What? Okay. So, just to start myself from sort of an easy point, yes, login is a perfect point, actually, because you send the login object as an object, it's stringified, it's everything. I need to think a little bit about how relaying works. So when you send data, it goes through every peer. Yeah, and it directly sends it on that peer, and if it can't, then it sets peer relay, and it's presumably building up, yes, a list of peers to relay. So what I'm going to do So this could be an array of numbers, or a number, or null. This dot peers dot length. Fine, so just every peer is this dot peers, that makes sense. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. Just skip a parameter, because I'm about to find out. Okay, else if type of targets in is number, then targets is just that. Else targets is targets in. Hopefully the type checker will determine that targets is always the right type. And I'm actually going to start with send data. I'm just going to snag this entire thing, even though it's going to change quite dramatically by the time I'm doing it. Uh, this is nonetheless going to be a decent starting place. Every time I see P high, I think phi. It's like, what the hell? So what is going on with this? I see. Yeah, I'm building up the bit array as I go. But I can also do it as targets here. So I'm going to do it that way. So let's get rid of phi and just have need relay. No need to force anything like that. None of this matters. Oh, I should build the message. That would be good. TCP message. Let me just look for a create packet to start from. That's right. I was going to start with this because it is pretty much exactly what I need. What is happening? Parts.ctcp. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to have to adjust the packet. I guess I actually don't need to adjust the packet because in this case, like in client-to-client messages, it's always unambiguous. You're getting it from the client you just got it from. So how do I make data messages then? Parts.data. Oh, of course. Yeah, it's who it's from, not who it's to. Fine. I forgot. Yeah, there's no point in that being... I was even saying it the right way. Like, you know who it's coming from, but that is from, and I know who it's from. Yeah, that should be fine. So I've got my message set up. It should be the same message to everybody. And I might just try peer.reliable.send rather than even checking if it's there. That's an array buffer, which is exactly what it should be. Obviously, there's no question of reliability. It's always going to be on the reliable channel, and then if that fails for any reason, I relay it. This is... It doesn't understand what's happening. Well, whatever. I feel like it doesn't understand the this object, and that is why. Da, 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 da. I broke my this. So now, hypothetically, yeah, there we go. Yep, okay. Thank you for reminding me that I need a bang there. Yeah, this is not relevant. I see how I did that. But I'm going to do it differently. I really just need the number. So the message is fixed, and there's the targets. And I assume that reliability should default to reliable. I don't know why it would default to unreliable. Yes, okay, it defaults to reliable. That's what I figured. Okie dokie. So that should be much of it, and then I just need the receiving side. So here, when I get a hot.ids.ctcp message, so what is info? I wonder what I ever intended for this to be. It would probably be, you know, protocol-related information and not just CTCP messages. But I know that I never used it, as demonstrated by this. No info is currently supported. I'm not going to like disconnect the user for sending a bad CTCP or anything. I'm just going to ignore bad CTCPs because they are CTCP. By the way, CTCP is an IRC word, and I don't know if anybody else would know what it means, but it doesn't technically matter. You know what? I'll just put the whole thing under try. There's no reason not to. Data. A little bit overzealous to do this many steps. I'm going to combine these two. And I definitely shouldn't call it message, since that's the global variable name. Dot, what? Dot emit event. what did I document this event as being called? Just CTCP makes sense to me. And the peer is this.id. And did I call it data? Yes. And here's your data. And that's it. Well, there's no harm in at least console.erroring it. But yeah, if it doesn't decode or if it's just broken, I don't care. Okay, let's see if that compiles. Yeah, I was an optimist. I did indeed say, I don't know if that's allowed. It's not. It's not allowed. I only care about the index, so I just wanted to ignore the first. You know what? There's a standard way of doing this. You name it underscore. That is your indication that I don't care about this parameter. That comes from pattern matching in functional languages. Whee! Okay. 94. Oops. Right, I did not make this asynchronous. Targets in. Oh, I see. Interesting. I was inconsistent with my naming there. Makes more sense to call it targets in. Let me quickly. I think I already did this. Just wanted to quickly make sure that I'm actually up to date. Oh, I see. Yeah, because I had already merged it, but I hadn't pushed the merge of beta. Okay, there we go. And now, because it's only April, and I obviously never check anything, I quickly set the copyright dates to 2025. Such a persistent problem. But like I said, to make this actually work, it's going to need a server-side change as well. It's like an ordering violation here because I obviously need the protocol in order to use the protocol, but the protocol is in the client, and so I'm going to need to publish in a careful order. Not a big deal. So when I get a relay message, I am now allowing, as well as all of the other things I'm allowing. It can be ID, or it can be ACK, or it can be CTCP. Okay, didn't completely break. That's a good thing. Nope, not that. Not that. Not that. Now, there's a whole, like, CTCP layer in here that I think I didn't use. Period. Didn't consider this. So let me grep around for broadcast and see how I'm actually using CTCP. Wow, I'm actually using. I mean, this is bizarre because, yeah, this is the problem. The missing captions, or rather the Jitsing caption. They're still via Jitsi when they ought to be via RT on Wii now. Am I only sending the speech? How is the speech data getting sent then? What? I guess maybe the event is VAD to something. Oh, it's UI.speech. Ugh. But everything just dispatches UI.speech. Nothing actually reads it. Is it conceivable that the only way I'm currently sending the speech events is also Jitsi? Yeah, this is dispatching the event. I mean, if the only place where I'm listening for the event is Jitsi, and then, yeah, in this dot speech, I mean, I guess the way to verify this is to go like this. Don't actually need this for the time being. That's what I ultimately want to fix, but I really thought that I had, when I switched video over, removed... why does this happen sometimes? Sometimes downloading on Ennuicastr takes a really long time, and I don't know why. Anyway, I really thought that when I had switched over video to use RT on Wii instead of Jitsi that I had removed, like that was the last Jitsi dependency. But I guess this might still be going via Jitsi, which would just be a little bit silly. Testing. It's not. Then why is it working at all? So the fact that these are highlighting is an indicator of the fact that the speech information is coming through. Oh, of course, because it doesn't have to broadcast the speech information if it's using RT on Wii. Right, because it's literally getting the information from the actual speech that's coming through RT on Wii. Okay. I confused myself there. So it's not ideal that I wrote half of this assuming that I would be using JSON and half of this assuming I would not be using JSON. Like this is written assuming no JSON. I'm just trying to decide whether well, you know what, there's an easy answer. I change everything to use JSON, and then I make Jitsi just use JSON. I fix it on the other side. In fact, I think that I had to do some weird nonsense because Jitsi wants to send JSON. Yeah, that's right. I turned the JSON. I turned the string. I turned the command into a uint8 array, and then the uint8 array into a string, and then the string into JSON. This is very stupid. So it'll be better to not work that way anyway, because that way was very, very stupid. Well, I'll leave that because I am going to change that. So in the comms, I need that CTCP sends a message. Oh, damn. I just realized it's going to be difficult to debug as I go here, because if it's JSON, then it is just type any now. we have our own... Hold up. We have our own peer-to-peer connection, totally unrelated. What does this mean? I mean, if nothing else, it means we've done unnecessary work here. But this is very much a different connection, yeah, because there's like an ordering thing. Um, I think everything's fine, and I was being over worried. The only problem is that I'm not listening for an event I ought be. Or I'm not producing or listening for an event I ought be. Yeah, I have a sort of complicated way of doing this. None of which should be here. I guess this should be in CTCP, for lack of anywhere better to put it. It just never got moved. So in proc, yeah, I even left that just inexplicably as a fix me. Not quite sure why I left it as a fix me. Surely the in-proc result has its completeness, right? Interface, in-proc. Yeah, well, I mean, it's implied. It's implied by text or partial. So I really only need the result here. I'm going to leave that fix me for the moment, because it's still completely relevant. Does this really not have... Oh, okay, it doesn't have a constructor because you initialize it this way. Fine. Yeah, and this is just checking for all the events. All the events. Yep. Good. So, since I'm just sending the result directly, it is complete if text is set. Okay, and I will take the caption and add that as a new method here. Okay, for which I need oh, I see. It defaults to the empty string. That makes sense. Let me make sure I... And yes, this is indeed here. And right, I am broadcasting by literally just sending one by one. But then, am I actually handling this caption message anywhere, or is that also only in Jitsi because I'm stupid? Right. So you get a CTCP message here. Then you report a spammer. And Twitch makes it nice and difficult to report a spammer. You wouldn't want that to be easy to do. Is anyone anywhere listening for these? No. It's actually sort of possible that that's incorrect because it could be a... nope, nope, nobody's listening for it. Cool, awesome. So this handles the sending side, but I need this. It could probably just be in the UI, really. Oh, whoops. I realize I'm duplicating, but all the Jitsi code will eventually go away. Okay, how does this work? Right. And the command think I just have a string for that. Or just the number as a string for that. Let me quickly verify that. Uh, so ctcp sock. Yes, the command is just a number. So prot.ids dot caption. And the actual, yeah, it's peer and message. Message is it going to be a data view? Probably a data view. Yes. I guess that is in UI. Feels slightly weird to put this in the implementation, but it is part of the implementation, so. See if that compiles. I'm not sure if any of this CTCP code is sort of sufficiently used for me to be confident or not confident in it. Neat. It's not too surprising that the UI implementation did not input the, or did not require the protocol, but sometimes it's protocol events. Right, of course. In this module, this is UIFE. Yeah. I rate the probability of this just working at maybe 23%. If it doesn't work, it is probably something I'm missing in the CTCP implementation that's really... well, I mean, I guess I know the CTCP... No, I don't know the CTCP implementation is working at all because in RT Ennui, speech data did not go over the CTCP implementation. So I have no evidence that this will work. Neat. Couldn't have failed. Oh, there we go. Never mind. It's just being very slow. No problem. Man, it's this testbed server I'm using must just be really slow right now, because this starts displaying once it's connected to the server and gotten back like any information at all. Oh yeah, look at that. Another case of I did not consider the possibility that it would take an eternity to load the initial thing before I started displaying anything. There we go. Curious. Curiouser and curiouser. Yeah, I see what's happening here. This is kind of funny. When I do remove child, this actually needs to be under a try, because it's completely fine if it's not a child, it's been removed by some other way. But if it doesn't succeed in removing, then yeah, then I'll get this crap. I guess I can do this too. Like, what's the yeah, so if we haven't fully loaded, okay. All of that is just silliness, but no harm done. And I didn't actually... Doop-a-doop-doo. Now I want live captions. All of that, and I need to load again because I didn't have the right options selected because I'm an imbecile. Man, this testbed server is really having a time of things, eh? I just made those changes and didn't install them, so I'm still getting this. Lol. Good lord. It's actually all working fine. It's just, yeah, taking a long time to load and connect to the server and such. And so a lot of things that are supposed to be like minor warnings are doing nonsense. But anyway, all of that is actually fine. So I'm not looking into whether those captions are correct, merely whether they are present. And here's the more important question. When I connect a separate client, nothing. Cool. Scheiße, yeah, I don't see any log errors related to it. Just probably the CP layer never was really tested. So. Okay, we know the next thing we're going to be fixing next time. But that's next time.